The film starts with Bradley towing a car to the garage where he works. When he arrives, his boss is already waiting in front of the workshop, wanting to discuss something important. Seeing his boss's unusual body language, Bradley becomes curious about the topic of conversation. His assumption proves right because he gets fired due to the economic crisis. Soon after, he swiftly packs his belongings and leaves the workshop. Upon reaching home, Bradley finds his wife, Lauren, on the phone inside a car parked in front of the house. Suspicious of her making a call, he goes over and opens the car door. He informs her about losing his job. While talking, he notices red kiss marks on her neck. Feeling jealous, he angrily takes his wife's cell phone and checks the last call, discovering that she had just called another man. In frustration, he told his wife to come into the house. Following that, he expressed his anger by damaging his wife's car, punching the rearview mirror, and forcefully removing the car hood. Bradley then asked Lauren to have a private conversation inside the house and inquired about the duration of her affair. His wife confessed that she had been involved with another man for 3 months. Lauren felt sad after a miscarriage, and Bradley, busy with work, didn't have time for her. After sharing their feelings, Bradley suggested they start a new life, and Lauren agreed. Having lost his job at a repair shop, Bradley plans to work with a man named Gil, who is a drug courier. Hearing this, his wife disagreed with his decision. However, Bradley insists that it's not easy for him to quickly find a job given the current challenging economic conditions. 8 months later, Bradley starts working as a drug courier. He delivers a package to a drug dealer in an apartment and then heads home. His family's financial situation begins to change, and he can now afford a more luxurious lifestyle, moving into a bigger and grander house. Lauren is pregnant again. While having an intimate moment with his wife at home, Bradley receives a phone call from Gil asking him to come over. He promptly leaves. Upon arrival, Bradley is introduced to a new friend of Gil's named Eliezer. Eliezer is a stylish man with black hair and runs a large-scale drug ring in Mexico. Eliezer brings along 2 men, Roman and Pedro, who have imposing and muscular body postures like bodyguards. Eliezer informs Bradley that these 2 men will accompany him on duty. However, Bradley turned down Eliezer's suggestion because one of Eliezer's men named Roman seemed intoxicated with drugs. Bradley was concerned that if Roman accompanied him, it could cause problems. Eliezer defended his men, stating that he had trained Roman. Gil then persuaded Bradley to take on this crucial business task and promised him 3 months off when the baby was born. In the end, Bradley agreed to the offer under the condition that he would lead the mission, and Eliezer's men had to comply. Both parties agreed. Bradley and Eliezer's men promptly began their drug dealing mission. They arrived at a pier at night, preparing to retrieve a drug package placed on the seabed. The trio boarded a small yacht and sailed into the sea. When they reached the middle of the sea, the yacht came to a stop. Pedro got ready to retrieve the drug package by diving to the ocean floor. Shortly after, Pedro discovered a large box resembling a pirate's treasure chest tied with chains. He used a crowbar to open the chain lock and swiftly gathered all the drug packets, swimming back to the sea surface. Bradley and Roman assisted in retrieving the drug package. Afterward, the yacht returned to the dock. Bradley had a suspicion that the police might ambush them while sailing back, so he instructed Roman and Pedro to toss the drug package into the sea. Hearing this, Roman and Pedro rejected Bradley's order, leading to a fight. In the end, Bradley eventually parted ways with Roman and Pedro. However, when they reached the car park area at the pier, Roman and Pedro were already surrounded by the police, leading to a shootout. Witnessing the incident from a distance, Bradley hurriedly walked back to the yacht. Unfortunately, on his way, he encountered a policeman who sought his help. Bradley had to think quickly to avoid suspicion, so he pretended to be a civilian assisting the police. Then, he shot Roman and Pedro. Pedro died in the shootout, and Bradley got arrested by the police, immediately detained. At the police station, Bradley faced interrogation from a detective. The detective discovered that Bradley was a clever individual capable of deceiving others. However, the police weren't naive. Eventually, Bradley underwent a trial, and the court sentenced him to 7 years in prison for murder and possession of illegal weapons. After the sentencing, he was transported to jail on a prison bus and, upon arrival, underwent a physical examination. Next, the prison warden instructed all prisoners to empty their bodies, followed by a medical examination at the clinic. Afterward, an old man named Lefty escorted him to his cell on the top floor. Upon reaching his cell, Bradley encountered a prison warden named Andre. Andre explained the rules for inmates during their prison stay. One of the rules stated that all prisoners must come out and stand in front of their cells to be recorded when the bell rings. As night fell and the bell rang, inmates promptly stood in front of their cells for examination by the prison warden. However, when all the upstairs inmates were standing in front of their cells, Bradley was still fast asleep, causing the other inmates to wait until he woke up. Shortly after, Bradley woke up and received a reprimand from the prison warden. He was asked to be more disciplined and adhere to prison regulations. Meanwhile, at Bradley's residence, Lauren, who was sleeping, suddenly discovered an intruder who had broken into her house and shot her with a stun gun. After fainting, Lauren was taken by the kidnapper to an unknown location. The next day in prison, Bradley was summoned to meet with the prison staff in the office. The staff member, Denise, informed him that an obstetrician wanted to have a discussion. As it turned out, the doctor was his wife's obstetrician, and they wanted to talk about the complications Lauren experienced with her pregnancy. Bradley met with Dr. Pellman the following day in the prison reception room. Dr. Pellman, however, revealed himself to be Eliezer's henchman and came to inform Bradley that his boss lost $3.2 million due to the failed drug dealings at that time. Subsequently, he showed a photo of Lauren sitting on a chair with her eyes closed and hands tied. Dr. Pellman threatened to harm Lauren's womb unless Bradley complied with Eliezer's wishes. Eventually, they reached an agreement. Bradley is tasked with making things right by eliminating a convict named Christopher Bridge, serving a life sentence. This prisoner is held in a different prison, specifically in cell block 99. After concluding his conversation with the visitor, Bradley is escorted back to his cell by the prison warden. Just before entering his cell, he unexpectedly removes his shoes and starts hitting Andre with them, sparking a brawl. Bradley intentionally incites chaos to secure a transfer to cell block 99 in Redleaf, an area of the prison with maximum security. While Bradley can easily overpower Andre, some of Andre's colleagues intervene and manage to apprehend him. On the way to the cell, Bradley once again attacks several prison guards, initiating another fight. He does this because he believes the disturbances he caused were insufficient to warrant a transfer to the Redleaf area. After the brawl's conclusion, a prison guard electrocuted him, leading to his transfer to Redleaf Prison. His desire was fulfilled. Upon reaching Redleaf Prison, Bradley received a welcome from the warden, who cautioned him about its maximum security nature, where the chances of release were minimal. Following a physical examination, Bradley was then guided to cell number 59. To his surprise, the cell's condition differed significantly from the previous prison. It now appeared filthy, dark, and foul-smelling. The cell, attached to an open toilet, was filled with waste from previous convicts. Unable to endure the stench, he removed his shirt to cover his nose. After spending a prolonged period in his cell, Bradley was approached by officers who escorted him outside for 60 minutes of fresh air. Upon reaching the prison grounds, a young inmate named Derek approached him. Bradley inquired if Derek knew a prisoner named Christopher Bridge, but Derek stated he was unfamiliar with that name. Shortly after, Bradley approached several inmates engaged in exercise, despite Derek advising against it. This led to inevitable fights, causing the prisoners to fall one by one. Soon after, the prison guards fired warning shots. Bradley, once again, attacked the officers. Eventually, he was subdued and swiftly taken to the cell block 99 area with his eyes closed. Upon reaching cell block 99, Bradley's blindfold was taken off, revealing its isolated and underground location. Before entering the cell, he was outfitted with an electrocution jacket. Inside the cell, broken glass littered the floor. Meanwhile, Lauren appeared frail from her captivity in a concealed location. In the same place where Lauren was held captive, Dr. Pellman and a man from Korea, an abortion doctor, were present. However, they hadn't performed an abortion on Lauren yet, only conducting a preliminary examination. The scene then shifted back to the prison. In his cell, Bradley, lying limp, began shouting Christopher Bridge's name. The neighboring inmate responded, stating there was no prisoner by that name. Soon after, prison guards arrived to electrocute him until he was incapacitated. The warden informed Bradley that several inmates wished to see him, leading him to a basement to meet them. When he met the inmates, it turned out that one of them was Eliezer. Bradley discovers that Dr. Pellman's request to kill Christopher Bridges was a trick to get Bradley transferred to cell block 99, where Eliezer planned to torture him. Eliezer, angry about losing $3.2 million and Bradley's actions leading to his imprisonment, expressed his frustration. Bradley endured continuous torture, weakening him, and was then shown a photo of his wife, Lauren, who appeared limp and helpless. After the torture, Bradley was dragged back to his cell. Upon returning to the holding cell where Eliezer was, Bradley attacked his men. One by one, Eliezer's men fell, leaving only Eliezer in the cell. Bradley proceeded to strangle Eliezer and demanded him to message Dr. Pellman to cancel his wife's abortion. He requested them to take Lauren to Gil's residence, a wish granted after he broke Eliezer's leg. Upon reaching Gil's home, Lauren rushed toward him. Subsequently, Gil shot Dr. Pellman and the abortion doctor from a distance with a long gun, causing their demise. While in prison, Bradley, upon learning that his wife survived via cell phone, conveyed a final message. He asked his wife to put the cell phone to her stomach so that the baby could hear the message, expressing hope for the child's health and intelligence. Bradley appeared very sorrowful, knowing he would never see his child. After ending the call, he returned to Eliezer's cell and attacked him until his head fell off. The prison's warden intervened, firing a bullet into Bradley's head and ending his life. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. Take care.